What is good, fam? Kendrick Lamar just took a 3% death sentence from the corporate suits at FIFA, and the whole hip-hop community is reeling right now. Everyone assumed the momentum from the Super Bowl and that total demolition of Drake would carry Dot straight to the biggest stage in the world of sports.
By the time this video is over, you are going to see exactly how pgLang is manipulating the architecture of the music industry to hijack the 2026 World Cup, and why the people closest to Drake should be absolutely terrified. They got handed a key, and the door that key opens is the biggest stage on planet Earth in 2026. Here's the thing nobody wants to say out loud. They got handed a key, and the door that key opens is the biggest stage on planet Earth in 2026. Here's the thing nobody wants to say out loud.
Instead, the executives at FIFA tucked their tails and picked the safest commercial lineup possible for the July 19th show at MetLife Stadium. On July 8th of 2026, the betting odds for Kendrick to headline that halftime show crashed faster than a bad cryptocurrency coin. We were expecting a West Coast takeover in New Jersey, but we got a pop star assembly line featuring Madonna, Justin Bieber, and BTS. It feels insulting when you look at the actual data because the fans clearly spoke and the gatekeepers simply chose to ignore them. Kendrick Lamar was the top fan-voted choice for this slot, and he only trailed Shakira and Taylor Swift in the global polls.
Now, the important part that I want to point out also that could be a possibility of pgLang or Kendrick Lamar performing is the person who is curating the show. It says here that FIFA is collaborating with Global Citizen and Coldplay's lead singer Chris Martin to curate the halftime performance.
FIFA handed the keys to Chris Martin from Coldplay to curate a brief 11-minute set instead of giving the culture what it actually wanted. Letting the man who makes elevator music for suburban dads decide the entire vibe of the World Cup final is why these organizations keep losing the streets. The roster they put together is basically a greatest hits list for a middle school dance from the year 2010. Madonna is taking up space that belongs to the man who made Not Like Us, and the addition of Justin Bieber feels like a move from a corporate boardroom a decade ago. They even added conductor Gustavo Dudamel and a massive global cast to make the production seem sophisticated, but it is just a way to avoid the raw energy Kendrick brings.
After the Super Bowl, after performing on the biggest American sports stage while simultaneously dismantling one of rap's biggest commercial artists, Kendrick Lamar's symbolic weight is at a level that very few living artists can match.
There is no room for the most influential rapper on the planet because the organizers are too busy trying to satisfy every single demographic at once. MetLife Stadium will be filled with families and casual pop fans, while the realest artist in the game gets left out of the conversation entirely. This is a massive snub for a rapper who spent the last year proving he is the undisputed king of the culture. Seeing him passed over for a pop-centric set is a tough pill to swallow for anyone who actually follows the music. This whole situation got even messier because of the absolute circus surrounding that artificial intelligence track that went viral back in June.
The boy is cornered. Now, before I say the thing, I got to address something serious. Everybody thought they knew the full story about why Drake has been silent.
A song called Rise Up featuring Kendrick and Shakira started popping up everywhere, and it was so well made that millions of fans were convinced the deal was signed. It dominated the social media trends for weeks and gave everyone a false sense of security that Kendrick was already the face of the tournament. Fact checkers eventually had to confirm that the entire song was a complete hoax generated by fans, but the damage to our expectations was already done. While we were all bumping a fake Kendrick song on our phones, the actual official anthem called Die Die was already being prepared by Shakira and Burna Boy. That song made its real debut at the opening ceremony in Mexico back on June 7th, but almost nobody in the hip-hop world cared.
And Chris Martin, the man curating the halftime show, exists inside the same elite cultural network that put Kendrick on the Super Bowl stage in the first place. The breadcrumbs don't point to a coincidence.
The computer-generated version felt more like the cultural moment we actually wanted compared to the official track they were trying to push. This hoax created a trap that made the actual lineup reveal feel like a total betrayal of the fans who were waiting for Kendrick. We were led to believe he was already part of the FIFA family, so seeing him replaced by BTS and Madonna was a painful reality check. It shows just how much the global audience actually wanted Kendrick in that spot if they were willing to believe a fake track was the real deal. FIFA missed a golden opportunity to capitalize on the most organic hype in music history just to play it safe with a pop roster.
He doesn't need another platform, which means if he performs at the World Cup halftime show, it's not because he was offered it. It's because it fits a larger strategic vision that he and Dave Free have been executing for years. pgLang has always operated with a long game mentality.
Confusion and the following collapse of his betting odds have left a sour taste in the mouth of the hip-hop community. Kendrick is the only one who could have truly met the magnitude of a World Cup final at MetLife Stadium. Instead of a historic hip-hop moment, we are getting a sanitized pop show that feels like it belongs in a different era. The contrast between what the fans voted for and what the corporate sponsors delivered is a clear sign that FIFA is more interested in safe bets than staying relevant. Even though Kendrick is dealing with this 3% drop, the person truly suffering in the background is Drake. This FIFA situation started back in early 2025, right after Kendrick broke every record with his performance at Super Bowl 59. That halftime show reached 133 million people and left the OVO camp in a state of panic.
Not because he's not talented, not because he's not commercially successful, but because commercial success and cultural weight are not the same thing anymore. And for the first time in his career, Drake is on the wrong side of that distinction.
The boy is cornered. Now, before I say the thing, I got to address something serious. Everybody thought they knew the full story about why Drake has been silent.
They suddenly realized they were no longer the primary focus of American sports culture. FIFA president Gianni Infantino went public with his desire to book Drake for the 2026 final, hoping to rival the massive cultural impact of the NFL. By late 2025, reports from Drake's team indicated they saw the World Cup as their chance to finally strike back at Kendrick. The plan was to use the global popularity of soccer to bury the memory of their 2024 feud and take back the top spot. Drake expected this to be his big redemption moment, where he could reclaim his title as the king of the industry on a worldwide stage. However, as of July 2026, he is nowhere to be found on the official FIFA lineup. This is a devastating double loss for the OVO camp because they failed in both the lyrical battle and the fight for corporate dominance. Watching pop acts like Justin Bieber and BTS take those positions is a brutal reality check for anyone still loyal to Drake's brand.
We are watching the slow-motion crash of the biggest brand in hip-hop, and it's not because of a diss track, it's because of hubris. It's because he thought he could outsmart the people who signed the checks.
The mainstream media is missing the bigger picture because they are so focused on the spectacle of a halftime show. Kendrick Lamar is not actually losing anything by skipping this performance because he is running a much smarter business play through pgLang and Adidas. While casual fans argue about who gets to perform in New Jersey for 11 minutes, Kendrick is focused on ownership in the long game. In April of 2026, his company pgLang held the famous 3 Lanes event in Los Angeles to launch the official World Cup jerseys. They brought out Baby King to perform, proving they already controlled the actual energy of the sport without needing a stadium stage. Kendrick has also been working on a multi-year deal with Global Citizen to build touring infrastructure and real music circuits across Africa.
The World Cup is a global event, full stop. 5 billion people, 190 plus nations, languages, cultures, backgrounds that would never intersect except at the intersection of football.
He does not want to be a temporary employee for a single show that forces him to follow a corporate script. By owning the jersey launches and the fashion fans wear in the streets, Kendrick is making money from the World Cup without needing permission from a network. He is building a legacy based on controlling the business of music in international markets, while pop stars are just visiting a stadium for a night. This situation highlights the massive gap between being a tenant and being a landlord in the music industry. Kendrick is the one setting the trends and creating the blueprint for how hip-hop integrates with global sports at a high level. He already dominates the streets and the official gear for the 2026 World Cup, making a halftime show look like a small distraction. Kendrick has shown that you do not need a microphone approved by a corporation to lead the culture. When you already own the clothes the fans wear and the music in their headphones, you have already won the war.
Right now, the world thinks he just won a legendary feud, but the truth is, Kendrick stopped competing with Drake the moment Not Like Us dropped. He left the board entirely to play a game with no borders, no charts, and no rivals.
Before we move on and see how Kendrick is running the sports gaming world right now, tell me what y'all think. Is being the landlord of the culture better than getting a corporate halftime slot? Tell me in the comments. No cap. While you at it, like and subscribe. Let's continue. Believing Kendrick Lamar is losing sleep over some corporate FIFA broadcast is a mistake, because you clearly have not seen how he has taken over the world of sports gaming. Even without a physical stage at MetLife Stadium, his voice is serving as the literal pulse of every major sports title released in the last year. When EA Sports dropped College Football 26 on July 8th of 2025, they put his track DNA front and center to remind every player who really runs things. He kept that momentum going as a lead artist on the UFC 6 soundtrack released on June 4th of 2026, where he stood next to legends like Cypress Hill and global icons like Bad Bunny. Every single time a fan picks up a controller to play the newest UFC or football game, they are forced to hear the man who supposedly got snubbed by a board of directors. This goes even deeper when you look at the soccer world specifically, as EA Sports FC is the game that actually defines the culture for the youth. The Hillbillies, featuring Baby Keem, has remained a staple of that rotation, ensuring that Kendrick is the soundtrack of the tournament, whether FIFA officially invites him or not. He is the one playing in the speakers of every teenager and sports fan across the globe while they are actually engaging with the game they love.
He doesn't need another platform, which means if he performs at the World Cup halftime show, it's not because he was offered it. It's because it fits a larger strategic vision that he and Dave Free have been executing for years. pgLang has always operated with a long game mentality.
The leadership at FIFA is busy chasing global pop stars like Madonna and Justin Bieber, but Kendrick is focusing on the fans who are actually on the ground. Those executives picked a safe and sanitized version of entertainment that works for advertisers, while Kendrick already owns the gear and the culture for the 2026 World Cup. He is the one designing and launching the kits that kids are going to be wearing to the stadium, while that halftime show is just a moment people use to grab snacks or check their phones. FIFA ultimately played themselves by passing on the most impactful artist of our generation. Even though Kendrick has built a system where he does not need their permission to lead, he is currently executing a corporate strategy that is so far ahead of the traditional music industry that most people cannot even see the moves until the checks have already cleared.
And Chris Martin, the man curating the halftime show, exists inside the same elite cultural network that put Kendrick on the Super Bowl stage in the first place. The breadcrumbs don't point to a coincidence.
He is moving behind the scenes while everyone else is fighting for crumbs on a television screen and hoping for a few minutes of fame. The culture is always going to choose the man who speaks the truth over a group of pop stars who are only there to collect a massive paycheck and look pretty for the cameras. Kendrick has proven that his influence is not tied to a single 11-minute performance because he has built a foundation rooted in the actual business and fashion of the sport. He is winning through pgLang and his deep partnership with Adidas and the global community that actually respects the craft of hip-hop. We are going to look back at the summer of 2026 and realize that Kendrick was the real winner of the tournament because he stayed true to his vision instead of diluting his art for a corporate halftime slot.
He doesn't need another platform, which means if he performs at the World Cup halftime show, it's not because he was offered it. It's because it fits a larger strategic vision that he and Dave Free have been executing for years. pgLang has always operated with a long game mentality.
He chose the long-term play over the short-term clout, and that is why his legacy is going to outlast every single name on that MetLife roster. Before we move on and see how Drake tries to spin his own absence from the biggest show on earth, I want to hear your thoughts on this situation. Tell me if the suits made the right move with global pop, or if this is the biggest miss in the history of the World Cup. Tell me your opinion in the comments. No cap, and while you are at it, please like and subscribe so we can continue with the rest of the breakdown. Now we can continue with the next part of the story.